What's happening, guys, and welcome to today's video. I want to quickly talk about Arsenal before I move on to other topics. Arsenal and the Raya signing, the goalkeeper. On thinking about it and seeing pundits, other content creators, sports media channels talking about it, I think this would be a mistake for Arsenal to sign Raya. I think Arsenal have a good enough goalkeeper anyway. I know Ramsdale made a couple of blunders last season, but so has Alisson, so has Edison, so has Onana. All of the top keepers make blunders. And even though Ramsdale isn't elite at the moment, I think he has what it takes to become elite. And this might hinder his development. Now, if they're trying to sign Raya for him to do the Champions League and Cup games and Ramsdale to do the Premier League games, I don't really think that works. I know I think, PSG have had two top goalkeepers with Donnarumma and I forgot his name, the South American goalkeeper, the one that came from Real Madrid to PSG, but that didn't work. Both their forms suffered. Barcelona have done it with ter Stegen. They played him in the league and another goalkeeper in the Champions League and the Cup games. I don't think it works. I think that there needs to be a clear hierarchy within the goalkeeper, number one and number two. What Arsenal need to do is sign a better number two. Someone like the Brighton number two, who's a good goalkeeper, and an upgrade from our current number two. Ramsdale should be number one, and we should sign a better number two. So the drop-off ain't so much. Maybe it's a 10% drop-off or a 5% drop-off. But at least the hierarchy is clear. There's no point in signing two number ones. It just don't work. And, 30 million for Raya, that's more than they paid for Ramsdale. So surely he's coming in to be number one. I think Brentford want 40 million, but I don't think Arsenal are going to pay that much. Arsenal should save that £30 million. Goalkeeper ain't the priority. Ramsdale can play every game. Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup. If you need to rest, play a number two. But don't go out and get another number one. It just don't work. It don't work. And I think Ramsdale can become an elite keeper. He could have the season, a fantastic season next season, and his level could improve even more, which I think it will. But if they go and get a Raya, that would hinder his progress. I think that'd be a mistake. It'll be a waste of 30 million. I don't even think Raya's elite. So what's the point in getting another, another goalkeeper on sort of Ramsdale's level? What's the point? You could have got Onana for free, but they didn't want to wait 6 months for the ban to be over. Inter Milan got him, and they sold him for 50 million. So it doesn't really make much sense. Spend that money on an attacking player on the right to give Saka competition, or a striker, or maybe another midfielder, preferably a striker. But don't waste £30 million on Raya. It's just not necessary. That's my thoughts on that. I hope we don't sign him. I hope they use that money elsewhere. If they want another number two, get a number two. Don't go and sign a number one. Ramsdale didn't do anything, to deserve losing his place or to deserve his place being undermined. I think it was one of our best players last season. He kept us in a lot of games. Yeah, we made mistakes, but so what? Saka, the golden boy, played crap throughout the whole running. They're not rushing to get another right-sided attacker. Ramsdale was one of our most consistent players. And, getting another number one, I don't think that's fair. So that's where I'm standing on that. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments. On to transfers. Harry Kane. This is dragging out. Apparently, there's a deadline. If he's not sold by the start of the season, basically, it looks like he's going to stay. Now, Daniel Levy, he's got this, he's got this thing that he's like this extremely smart businessman, that he runs Spurs. So utter bullshit. He's not that clever, mate, because the Gareth Bale money wasted. If he was smart, he would sell Harry Kane now to Bayern Munich. Instead, he ain't gonna sign a new contract. He's gonna go for free, and he's probably gonna go to an English club, a rival. How is that smart? If you're getting anything from 70 to 90 million for Harry Kane, that's good. Because you're getting something. And you're selling him abroad, out of sight, out of mind. It's a nonsense. I still think he'll go, but the fact that this is dragging on so long, it shows the stupidity of this Daniel Levy, because he ain't that damn clever, man. This is dragging on now, and he should go to Bayern and further his career. He's too good for Spurs. Spurs will not win anything with or without him. Spurs will not get into the Champions League with or without him. All that's going to happen is he's going to get closer to his goal of breaking Shearer's record, and Spurs will still be the same, mediocre, in crisis, sacking Postecoglou after 6-7 months, mate. So what is the point? Pointless. Mbappe. I think PSG are doing all they can to destroy this young man's reputation. Now they're accusing Real Madrid of tapping up Mbappe. Mate, Mbappe don't want to sign. He don't want to go Saudi and get the money. And he wants to go Real Madrid. Now if Real Madrid are going to put in an offer for him, they might, there's still quite some time before the transfer window closes. So PSG, I don't like how they're treating Mbappe. Mbappe's not done anything wrong. He doesn't want to sign a new contract. What's the big deal? He doesn't want to stay at PSG. He wants to go to Real Madrid. That is his goal. That's his dream. He wants to win the Ballon d'Or. He wants to be in the best team in the world. He's the best player in the world. What is wrong with that? Nothing. No one should be speaking any shit about Mbappe or putting down his name in any way whatsoever. He's doing the right thing. He's ambitious. He's helped PSG enough. And he wants to move on. End of. If Real Madrid want to buy him this summer, they should give PSG a dirt cheap offer that they'll have to accept. If they don't, get him for free. That's it. And maybe Mbappe can help PSG win the Champions League next season and leave for free. That'd be worth it, wouldn't it? Because it would have helped them complete their ultimate objective to win the Champions League like Manchester City done last season. The way some of these clubs move is so stupid. It's so pathetic. It's annoying. It does my nutting, mate. So I also want to talk about Caicedo, Chelsea. Chelsea have the money. Why don't they just pay 100 million for Caicedo? Everyone's overpriced. Enzo Fernandez was overpriced. Mudryk was overpriced. Declan Rice was overpriced. Caicedo is going to be overpriced. Pay the money. Pay the money. They don't bother me. I want Chelsea to go into next season with a shit midfield. But if they go in the midfield with Caicedo and Enzo, that's a pretty good midfield partnership. But I don't understand, what it is. Like, he probably is worth about the same as Enzo and Declan Rice. They're about the same level of player, so pay the money. Brighton don't sell for anything less, and they don't need to sell. They're not in a panic to sell. So that's where I stand on that. Chelsea have got rid of, to be fair, they've done well with getting rid of a lot of players, getting rid of a lot of wages, getting money for certain players. They've done well in that department. They've done well this transfer window than the previous two. So I don't really understand why they don't get, one of their main targets. I don't know if this deal's going to happen. I don't know if Chelsea are going to walk away. I'll be keeping a close eye on that. Lavia. Southampton are being greedy. They've turned down a second offer, or third, I'm not quite sure, but the latest offer of around mid 45 million, 47 million for Lavia. Now they won up to 50 million. 50 million will probably get the deal done. Liverpool will probably end up paying it, But I think Southampton are being greedy. Because, Lavia, as good a player as he is, he ain't done it for that long. It's basically only one season. And he's a risk. He's young. So I think anything in the 40s is fair. But most of these clubs nowadays, they're being exceptionally greedy. And they're trying to push the boat out of what they can get for players. I think Liverpool will ask for the asking price. But, losing Fabinho and losing Henderson, they need a bit more experience. And, I know Van Dijk is their captain. I don't think Van Dijk is a natural leader. I don't think he's vocal enough. If people know stats, people know that when Henderson was out of the team during his Liverpool career, especially during the Klopp times, their win ratio dropped exponentially. So even though Van Dijk is the obvious choice, I don't think he's anywhere near the captain or leader that Jordan Henderson was and is. Trent as the vice captain, I would have thought Robertson maybe would have been the vice captain, but I don't think Liverpool have any real leaders. They've lost Milner, they've lost Jordan Henderson, and they've lost Fabinho. And Fabinho's also a leader. So I think that Liverpool, they may struggle. Van Dijk ain't near his best. And I don't think he's a natural leader, as good a player as he is. The last story I want to talk about is James Ward-Prowse. Now, West Ham have got all this money for Declan Rice, and they don't seem to want to spend it. Now, I think that Southampton won about £40 million for James Ward-Prowse, but West Ham don't want to cough up the money. They're lowballing. James Ward-Prowse is a good player. He's a very good player. He's definitely a Premier League player, and he would do most teams in the Premier League. He'd be great for most teams. He'd improve Spurs. He'd walk into the Spurs team. He's better than most players that Spurs have had in centre midfield. Anyway, he'd walk into the Chelsea team, and he'll definitely walk into the West Ham team. But I don't really understand what West Ham are doing in terms of transfers. They've got the money, but they don't seem to want to spend the money. And I think £40 million for a player of James Ward-Prowse, experience, quality, is fair. It seems like they want to walk away from this deal, but I think that West Ham need to get recruiting, because them winning the UEFA conference, it papered over the cracks. Maybe the fact that they went so far in Europe affected the domestic form, but they're going to be in Europe again, and their domestic form is probably going to be affected again, and they're probably going to be close to the bottom again. So is David Moyes going to manage to keep them up? I don't know. Their squad is weaker, and they need to recruit. So West Ham need to get in and spend some of that Declan Rice money, or I do see them in a relegation battle for sure. Alright guys, so this is going to end today's video. I'll be back tomorrow for another video. So please guys, leave a comment, smash the like, share and subscribe. And I'll see you tomorrow for another one. Peace.